Talk to me about body hair. I majored in poetry. I chart the lunar cycles. My mom is European. All right, like my leg hair is currently poking out of my pants, just yearning to break free. I feel like I need to start wearing those nets that they put on Christmas trees to like keep the foliage contained. Come spring, I need to find an Amish farmer to just shear me like a fucking sheep. Just start anew. Also, in terms of theater, this might not surprise anyone, but from elementary school to college, every character I was cast to play was described as handsome. Female characters, no matter the age I was an older woman, conspicuously not wearing a wedding ring, but had a vast collection of vests. Anytime I entered a scene, I had a new vest on. And like, that's really an incident that I think the world was trying to gently help me come to a realization about my sexuality. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, there was one portion of gym class that I fucking flourished in. For some reason, once a year at West End Elementary, for about 2 weeks, the PE department would have circus curriculum, and I came to life. And don't get me wrong, I still didn't do anything very physical. Like I stayed very far away from the stilts. I had no interest in how to learn how to like get a plate to spin.
Do you fortune tell?
No. See, what I found my passion to be, very niche, tossing scarves into the air. I'm not joking. I would go next to a cardboard box filled with colorful silk scarves and throw them elegantly, one at a time, into the air above me, kind of juggling, mostly just Stevie mixing around, you know. There were some spins, there was some choreo, and it always got too sensual and emotional, considering that my PE teacher was blasting the Space Jam soundtrack, and I was like 10 in cuffed sweatpants on wrestling mats. But I did that for 40 minutes straight, 3 days a week. Now that I think about it, no one else joined me. And like, is that even a circus thing?
No.
What circus has a scarf artist? I think my mom might have donated the cardboard box of scarves. I was like, my daughter needs this. And she was right, I did. I needed it. I felt alive.
Thumbs up from her mom.
I felt beautiful.
She
She's like,
donated
please. My daughter, she danced. It was electric. It was electric. People wept. People wept. Woo! It was magic.
It made you feel good.
It made me feel good.
Oh, good.
Oh, I felt good.
Oh my goodness. Wow. What a sight.
Yeah.
Shit. The thing that made me feel particularly sexy was warming up for basketball games.
No, can't relate.
You know?
Cannot relate.
Doing like layups to This Is Why I'm Hot by Mims.
Oh, wow. Wow. Take it. Yeah, no, they know.
I'm hot 'cause I'm
Yeah, they know.
You know, just like in those baggy shorts and sleeveless jerseys. It was like a little baby gay's dream.
Yeah.
You know, and it felt so right, and I didn't know why at the time, but it just felt so right.
Sure.
Oh, I loved it. The weird thing, though, was that being decent at basketball made me a bit of a dude magnet.
Now, do you mean that in a way that a magnet can both attract and repel?
Yeah.
Just push them away?
I think I repelled most men, and there was one in particular that I drew in.
Interesting.
His name was Andrew Manansala.
Okay.
And,
thank you,
and he was, I would say he was like the third or fourth most attractive on the boys'
Ooh, what a
varsity
get.
team.
Number 4.
Yeah. Maybe even second. And he would
Probably 4th.
He was on the varsity team, and he would always watch our JV games. And he would yell out, and he would say, I'm keen on Levine.
I'm keen? Was he 60 years old? Was he your soccer coach?
No! He was 16, and he was very cute.
I don't know about that.
To me. And I later used Keenan Levine for my student council candidacy.
That's plagiarism. And that is plagiarism.
Very successful. But no, Andrew was, he developed a bit of a keenness for me, and I for him. And I used to listen to John Legend's Stay With You on repeat and just like fantasize about our life together.
Did these fantasies include anything physical?
No, like emotional fantasies.
Yeah. A lot of words of affirmation.
And exactly. And the thing is, the moment it got like remotely physical is when I was like, nope. Like we were dared at our friend Lily's party to make out on a dare. And so we made out, and afterwards Andrew was like, do you want to go upstairs? And I was like, yeah, I'll be up in a bit. Never went up those stairs. So, you know, that was the one man, I had genuine feelings for him.
I mean, what I love to think is that, like, no matter wherever Andrew is right now, I bet a part of him is still up those stairs, just waiting to catch a boob, just waiting for that boob. Quite like how there will always be a part of me spinning and throwing scarves. Just throwing scarf to someone being
I
like,
hope so.
just someone being like, come on and slam if you want to jam. And that's what Andrew wanted. Andrew wanted to slam, and he wanted to be welcome to the jam.
I know.
Okay, so you know how I said I was never interested in sports. That wasn't entirely true. There was one time when I decided to try out for a sports team once. I don't know why. I was a sophomore in high school, and I thought that I should be a part of the badminton team.
Yeah, you did.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking, Colette, your fucking high school had a badminton team? Yeah, bitch. I grew up in lacrosse country, okay? Very super privileged white people, and their favorite kind of sport is one where you have a stick and you use it to make sure that nothing hurts you.
Right.
They're like poor people, hit them back. Hit them back. And I thought, well, I'm certainly too poor for tennis. Maybe they won't notice that I'm too poor for badminton. I was late to the tryout. Opened the door, and the room was full of like beautiful girls in like flirty sports skirts, all holding their own rackets, and they had T-shirts that said things like "put in the bat in badminton," and I immediately thought, I was like, oh no, they already have inside jokes. I don't stand a chance. Everyone turned around and stared at me, and for far too many seconds, we just stood like that, and then the coach asked, oh, are you here to try out? And sweating everywhere. I just gurgled, got to call my mom. Got to call my mom. So I walked across the room to the phone booth because it was 2006 and I was too poor for badminton. And the room was completely silent. And all the energy focused on me because everyone knew I was lying. So I had to stage a phone call with my mom because I didn't have a quarter to like put into the phone. And to the point that I faked the quarter noise in the coin slot. I was like, and I'm taking it out and clunking. Hello. Like, did a whole banter set. I think we had a fight at one time. My backpack was like stuck in the door, so I like couldn't really move. Eventually walk out, give everyone a thumbs up, leave. Found out 2 days later, badminton in my school, walk-on team. So everyone got on. I think I avoided something.
A totally different life.
Yeah, no, I think it would have been the wrong life.
Okay, fair
Can you
enough.
imagine?
I can't, no. I mean, you would have been great.
No, I'm not offended. That wouldn't come on and slam or welcome to the jam.
But Colette, my favorite part of that story is that you faked the noise of a quarter going into
Okay, I'm very committed. I'm very committed to my object work.
Pretty inaccurately, in fact.
Yeah, you know, I'm not that good.
So, but no, badminton is a very competitive sport. I would say it's my sport. It's one of my sports, and
you just keep adding sports to the list.
it's the one that I
Above modern dance.
I try that more than modern dance. I've been some badminton rackets in my day. The biggest fight I ever had with my mother was after a mother v daughter badminton match on my grandma's front lawn. So I get it. It's feisty.
They've also got into intense fights, you and your mom, over after improv games.
Improv games.
It's really just you guys.
I think it's our dynamic.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and my mom has made me a feisty woman. The thing about me is I was very sporty, but I never looked like an athlete. And I do blame that on my parents. They let me wear whatever I wanted to soccer practice, and so I would choose like floral spandex shorts and like a white sequin sweater with a little accent scarf, you know?
You wear that now. I've seen that
Sure,
look.
things haven't changed, and that's why. And I would kill the game. I would thrive, but I didn't look like a soccer player. I looked like the daughter of a kooky drama teacher, which is what I was.
Which you were. Which is accurate.
Joanne, my mother, best woman. Whenever she drove the soccer carpool, she would drop us off and she would say, "Okay, ladies, have a great rehearsal." And then before every game, she would say, "Okay, remember, flash dance, baby, flash dance." she was reminding us to give it our all, just like
But
Jennifer
in-
Beals
in the-
did
in the movie
final
Flashdance.
scene
Sure,
of Flashdance. But above all else, my mom, I would say, was probably the loudest soccer parent. We had these things when we were younger called silent games. It's where parents weren't allowed to cheer or say anything, and my mom literally skipped those games because she couldn't contain herself. And she'd be like, maybe I'll bring duct tape, nah, I'd probably tear it off, so she just wouldn't. Like, the whole Bay Area soccer community knew my mom's voice during a soccer game. She'd literally be like at the front of the stands, go Baco, kill him, get him, fuck him up. And she'd go, oh, sorry, shit. And then she'd calm down and then she'd get right back into it. And no matter what team I was playing for, she would always yell, go Tigers, go get them. I played on one team called the Tigers, a handful of other teams, but regardless, it would always be Tigers, kill them!
I love that. I very much identify. I love shouting. It is one of the few elements of a professional sporting match that I adore. It's the shouting and the single dads, you know? And as my motto goes, you know, if there's grass on the field that looks like it can't grow emotionally, because it was trampled after its divorce with its ex-wife, Carrie, play ball, you know? Bring me all your divorce dads, is what I'm saying. But so for work, they brought us to Mexico City, and the company don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare! You constantly talk about going to Sundance.
That's not on work.
You don't even have a job!
I babysit an hour and a half a day.
Do you expect benefits? Jesus. So they brought us to a luchador wrestling match, and I lost my mind. I also lost my voice. I blacked out. I think because, I was drinking a lot of free beer. Also, I think all the blood in my body rushed to the veins in my neck and my forehead that were just bulging. I screamed a lot of things at the wrestlers in front of my coworkers. It is accurate. Some of them which included, use your words, valuable. There was, bathe in his blood, different tone. There was a, take it a small claims court, sometimes. And then my personal favorite, I can't stand the will they or won't they tension. I couldn't, I really couldn't. So I love to scream. I love to fight. It's like my favorite. It's my favorite. And I watched a lot of professional wrestling growing up, which I think explains why this happened in a lot of ways. Of course I love shouting. Of course I love jumpsuits and capes. Of course I love women with very defined forearms and then weird goth men. 1,000% true. One of my first crushes was this professional wrestler called The Undertaker. Yeah, weird choice. See, his whole thing, if you're not familiar, if not one of those other weirdos, his whole thing that he was like a Western mortician, and he would drag his opponents out of the ring in a body bag. And I thought, I can fix him. He changed for me.
And they call me the weird one.
I am broken, without a doubt.
We're both pretty broken.
Yeah, you should see my Tinder matches. Not good!
I was one of those kids who would always get very immediately invested in a sporting event, even if I didn't know the teams. And I remember I was getting into football, American football, when I was around 8 or 9 as a young lesbian American does.
Sure, yeah, no, we get it. We get it.
And I'm gay. And it was the NFC Championships. It was the Bucks, the Buccaneers, versus the Rams.
Oh.
And I had only seen the Bucks play once before.
I love how you say Bucks.
I know, right? It's a good name, Bucks. Yeah. So I'd seen the Bucks play once before, but I had decided they were my team. And at the time, I was in Titanic the musical playing.
There's a musical?
Yeah, it's very good.
Do you sing My Heart Will Go On?
No, it's the real story of the Titanic. It's a completely different soundtrack. It goes,
please don't, no, we gotta keep it going. We gotta keep it going.
Anyway, I had 2 solo songs as Fleet the Lookout, who spotted the iceberg. High stakes, high pressure role. I was only 9, had a very low voice at the time. Anyway, I digress.
Some of us still do.
I digress. Sports. And so, the NFC Championship was during our matinee. They overlapped a bit. And so I finished the matinee, I rushed home. I was wearing this custom-made Go Bucks shirt made of these Velcro letters you could stick on your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and And I got home, I watched the second half with my dad, just screaming my head off for this team that I've literally only watched once before in my life. And the Bucks, in fact, end up losing. And I turn away from my father, I walk out on our deck, I start sobbing. I look up at the sky and I say, "Why, God? Why?" And I remember I wouldn't let myself leave the deck until I had sufficiently mourned the loss.
Truly, I love how you can turn any moment into a moment about you.
Oh,